Modern life exists, it seems to me, to keep us upset. Just does. It works. Problems and bills and government shutdowns and political foolishness. The kabuki theater that has become the federal government. Hilarious. Folks, it's a real side trail. They're talking like a federal government shutdown is a bad thing. The reality is, nobody ever really loses money. They get their back pay. It's designed to keep you upset. Because if you're upset, and it doesn't matter what side you're on, who cares? Frankly, I look at both sides of the aisle and I think to myself, this is Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey circus, for heaven's sake. It's designed to keep you upset. It's designed to keep you tuning in and watching the commercials in between the reports. And I don't want to come off as so cynical, but I mean, after 50 years, you start picking up on the pattern. It seems that all of modern life is designed to keep you upset. From bill collectors to the tax man to big problems and little problems, it all is designed to keep you upset. And the reality is, your life every day is made up of big and little choices that you're making based on, many times, your feelings. You're making choices, you're making life choices based on your feelings and based on what you think. The Greeks have this perfect word. It's not really translatable very well, but it's called phronema. Tisimini phronema. Phronema. Phronema is, it's bigger than mindset. It's the way you look at life. It's the way you look at reality. It's the way you look at your everyday existence. And you do that automatically. You do it on automatic pilot. Every day you get up and you're living your life. How many of you have experienced walking halfway through a day and thinking to yourself, I just did this mostly on automatic pilot today. I get up and I brush my teeth. It's absolutely like clockwork every morning. I get up, I turn the light on, I brush my teeth. And your day is filled with all of these routines. And all of these choices that you've made, all of these decisions, micro and macro choices that you've made based on the way you look at life. And that's normal. You're a normal person if that's happening to you. Here's the challenge. If there's never a moment in your life where you don't stop and examine that mindset, that phronema, that way that you're looking at life, you're going to come to the end of your life having lived most of your life on automatic pilot and wondering, how in heaven's name did I get here? Well, I'll tell you how you got there. You got there like I got here. By all of the choices that you made and didn't make based on your own priorities. So, a wise person would stop at least now and again and say, let's do an inventory on our priorities. Let's do an inventory on our priorities and find out what's going on. But that's hard to do. We're at the beginning of the year. Let's face it, you've already blown most of your resolutions anyway. We're at the beginning of the year, and so we're thinking about this, and we're going through this, and there are different periods of our time where we hit a crisis moments in our lives where we really think, okay, I need to really rethink this stuff about my life. I really need to think about what I'm doing with my life. Where am I going with my life? If you're a young person, you're thinking to yourself, okay, I got to make plans about college. Where are all those decisions going to grow out of? I got to make decisions about my business. I got to make decisions about my marriage. How am I going to raise my kids? Do the kids get the iPhone now, or do we wait till 9th grade? And all of these things that we make choices on, all of that's growing out of a ground of your own soul, that if you don't stop now and again and check out what's happening there, where is your automatic pilot growing out of, you're going to find that life is living you rather than you living life. And there are a million people that have a million different self-help ideas to help you go through this process and learn about how I can really check this out and make sure my priorities are right and all that kind of stuff, and that's great. My contention to you this morning is this, that if you're created in the image of God, if Jesus Christ really has risen from the dead and you're going to live forever, then your first priority as a sane human has to be finding out, what does God have to say about setting my priorities and making my choices in my life? And that takes precedent over every other bit of advice I might get. Now, I set all this up, and to be honest with you folks, I'm feeling this homily very deeply today for my own soul. So forgive me if this appears to be a little voyeuristic, that you're going to hear my own struggles today. Because I'm going to tell you what, gang, I don't have this down pat yet. I don't have this figured out. I'm still working through this. I'm still working through, how do I tame my passions? How do I set up my life so that my priorities accurately reflect eternal truths, and not just the fact that I just passed by Burger King and they've got two Whoppers for $1 for sale. Do you see my point? In other words, if I live my life just simply automatically reacting to my passions or my desires or my hungers, and never check out, where is this coming from? How am I making these choices? What facts am I basing these choices on? And that's the reason why I love this story of Zacchaius. Zacchaius is a guy who, if you looked at him, you would say, if that guy is going to be throwing a business seminar, I want to attend. I want to attend. He's successful. He's one of the wealthiest men in the town. Now, he did it by being a tax collector for the Romans. Did not make him popular with the crowd. Zacchaius didn't care about that. He didn't care about being popular with the crowd. Zacchaius had a focus. He had a vision. We would look at him and say, this is a man who's driven by his priorities. He's committed to taking care of his family. You going to throw rocks at that? He wants his children to have a good education. He wants to set up his economic world so that he's comfortable and he knows how to take care of his life. Not bad. Wish I could do that. By the way, gang, I got a lot of great gifts, and I'm really good at a few things. Finances ain't one of them. God save us. Stupidest thing in the world. Don't understand it, and frankly, I don't care. That's the biggest problem. But the reality is, Zacchaius didn't have that problem. Zacchaius is a focused businessman. We Americans would look at him and say, hats off, Zacchaius, A+. Good job, buddy. You've achieved. You've gained the American dream. You've got money in the bank. Ha 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 ha. Zacchaius recognizes a problem, though, in his life. He's come to that moment in his life where he knows he has to examine the ground out of which his priorities are growing. And he doesn't like what he sees. And he doesn't like what he sees so much that it drives him to action. This is a short guy. He can't see Jesus. He hears Jesus is coming. And he recognizes something inside of him says, listen, this is the guy that I need to find out about. This is the guy that I need to connect up with to get this priority checklist done. To run a diagnostic on my own heart, on my own life, so that I can see that I'm living my life well instead of just living my life, having my life live me. And so Zacchaius, the little short fella, shimmies up a sycamore tree to see Jesus. And Jesus, as he passes, well, you know the story. He passes by, he says, Zacchaeus, come down out of there, boy. That's the Father Barnabas Southern translation. Come out of the tree there, boy. I've got to have dinner at your place today. I've got to have dinner at your house today. And sure enough, Zacchaeus comes down. And what happens? Immediately, the crowd that Zacchaeus has been working with turns on him. You know the rest of the time, I'm just being a little speculative here, but you know the rest of the time, they were saying, oh, we love Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus, you know, because he's a wealthy guy. We don't get next to him. But now Jesus has gone in to have dinner with a sinner. Well, yeah. Where else is a doctor going to go? To the people who are ill. And so Zacchaeus immediately recognizes what's happening. What does he do? He says, Jesus, I'm going to tell you what, this priorities diagnostic that I've gone through today has changed my life. I'm going to give half I own to the poor. 50%. Everybody that's fussing about 10% tithe, y'all come see me afterwards. Let's go talk to Zacchaeus, shall we? 50% I'm going to give to the poor. And if I've cheated anybody, I'm going to restore them 4 times what I stole from them. Sounds like a deal. Listen to what Jesus says. Today, salvation has come to this man's house because he is also a son of Abraham. If you are going to go through in your own life the wise moment where you stop and you find out, you ask yourself a hard question. Are you content with allowing your life to live you? Or are you going to purposely live your life awake to the eternal reality of what Jesus Christ and the life that Jesus Christ offers you today? If you're going to do that, then the first thing you have to check on is, what do you want? What do you want? Zacchaeus wanted to see Jesus. And it's not like I want to diet. Zacchaeus wanted to do it bad. He wanted it so badly that he abandoned his pride and shimmied up that tree to see the Lord. What do you want bad enough in your life? You check out your desires, folks. In fact, I'll make a bold statement this morning. I want you to hear it. Tell me what you want, I'll tell you who you are. You tell me what you truly want at your heart of hearts, and I'll tell you who you are. What do you want? Do you want comfort? That's who you are. You will prioritize your life to make your life comfortable. Do you want money? You'll prioritize your life to make sure that you accumulate a lot of money. Do you want to be physically healthy? You will prioritize your life and your time and your money to make sure you get your exercise in, you do the planking. Amazing. I tried that one time. That's all it needed. That's all I needed. I've planked. I'm done. You'll prioritize your time. You'll spend money. You'll put your best effort into what you want. And brothers and sisters, this morning, I'm asking you to do probably what is the most difficult thing that an American can do. I'm asking you to check out if your desire is going to take you to the place where your life ought to be. Because children, pay attention here, you will not keep what you neglect. If you neglect your soul, you will not keep it. On this 15th Sunday of St. Luke, as we hear the familiar story of Zacchaeus, my brothers and sisters, don't let life live you. Live your life awake. Test your priorities. Begin that process by testing your desires. What do you want? Start that process, and you'll understand why the faith gives us the wisdom it gives us every week in being orthodox on purpose. Amen.